Okay, we're about halfway through the refit, so let's review the progress so far. The front of the ship still needs a lot of work done to it. I've replaced all the missing thrusters and even added a few extra. All I've got to do now is get them welded up. I've moved the missile launcher and Gatling turret further apart, so I've had space to add a connector to the top. That way small ships can dock up there. And as I move underneath the ship, you can see that I have added an extra connector down there too, between those two sets of welders. That way small ships can not only dock and unload their supplies there, but they can also get repaired too if necessary. Not much has changed in the cockpit yet, but I plan to get rid of a lot of this glass and reinforce it with a bit more armour, just to make it a little safer. I've removed the two assemblers and replaced them with one assembler and one refinery, just to make the ship a bit more self-sufficient. A bit like a mobile version of our asteroid base. Unfortunately, the refinery takes up more space, so I've had to change the layout slightly back here, including adding some more catwalks and also clearing out some more space from the underside, just to make it a bit more accessible. I'm also planning on adding some timer blocks down there to help control some of the systems I'm going to be adding later on. And back here, to save space, all I've done is replace the longer stairs with shorter ones. I've also moved the artificial gravity generator back slightly so it covers more of the ship with a smaller field, which actually saves power. These new airlocks aren't functional yet, but once they are, they'll be exactly the same as the one we had on the Icarus and the asteroid base. The only change I needed to make back here was replace a conveyor that was missing behind the cryo chamber there. Now they both receive power and oxygen. The jump drive, however, is something that has yet to be analysed or tested. That is something that Ben and I will do later on once the rest of the refit has been completed. That pretty much sums up the changes I have planned for this vessel. All I've got to do now is finish work on the Grazer and finally take action on the plans that I had for the rescue ship. There we are. The Grazer is once again a Grazer, a mining ship. Although I really should call this the improved Grazer Mark I because it has those extra retro thrusters and that new tricycle landing gear. Right, just checking to make sure the drills are working okay. And check to make sure there's nothing in the cargo bays. Good. Now, I'll just take it back to the Argentavis and I'll dock it on the top connector. I'll leave it there in the meantime. I'm not keen on making any more changes to the Grazer. I want to keep this as a dedicated mining vessel. What I could do with, however, is a second vessel, preferably a construction ship that can weld and grind. That will come in extremely useful when it comes to finishing off those thrusters at the front of the Argentavis. Benson, do we have any plans for a small construction vessel in our database?
Yes, Commander. I have the schematics for an international aeronautics and space administration short-range orbital installation builder in my database.
Ah, an old IASA builder. That'll do perfectly. Thanks, Ben. Right, I'll leave that here for the moment. I'll only come back when I need to turn the inertial dampeners off. But that's only for when the Argentavis is ready to move out. Now here's the thing, if I place a small ship projector down next to these, will they start building the blueprint for me automatically? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. Nothing's happening. Not enough range maybe? I'll try moving it. Aha, there we go. Not very impressive, I'll have to say. I was kind of expecting it to be a lot faster. Maybe there's something wrong with them. Ben, can you run a quick diagnostic check on the welders on the underside of the Argentavis for me, please?
Affirmative, Commander. I have run a quick check on welders 1 to 6 on the Argentavis, and I can confirm that they're all running at nominal efficiency. No faults detected.
Ah, really? So they're supposed to be running this painfully slow and inefficiently then?
That is correct. Maybe the problem experienced is due to user error rather than a technical fault.
Ha, thanks Benson, I'll take that into consideration. Gaze in wonder at the blinding speed of modern technology. Well, at this rate I guess we'll be finished at some point this evening. Aha! Look! All 3 welders have finally decided to kick in. The good news is that this means we might actually be finished before I die of old age. Something tells me we've still got a long ways to go. Well, that took a little bit longer than expected, but it looks like we're finally finished. The first thing I need to do before anything else is turn these welders off before we have an accident. They can do a lot of damage. I'll just quickly double check to make sure the welders haven't missed anything. Yep, looks good. I'll just get rid of these blocks that the projector was attached to, and then I'll just hop inside. Everything looks fine. I'll just dock with that connector and start loading up with components. Actually, I just need to confirm. The connector in this thing's only in the top, isn't it? I mean, there isn't one in the bottom, is there? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, that's going to make things a bit awkward, but it's doable. What I will want to do, and this is the same thing I did with the Grazer, and that's stick a camera right next to the connector. It just makes it a little easier when it comes to docking with this thing. The annoying part is just remembering to stick the damn thing the right way around. Three computers. Well, that's not a problem, especially when you've got a connector right next to you. Ah, damn it. I have put it the wrong way round. Everything's reversed. Oh well, that's not a problem. I'll fix that later on. There we go, successfully connected. That's good, looks like it fits perfectly. All I'll do now is quickly check around the outside one last time, make sure it's okay, and then I'll get around to adding all the components to the cargo bay that I need to complete the thrusters at the front of the ship. Hopefully this should be enough. So let's disengage and take the ship out and get welding. Welder is activated. Let's see how well this thing works. Not bad. Not bad at all. In fact, it's a little bit slower than the elite welder I've got, but because this ship carries more components, I'm actually saving time that would be spent going back and forth between a conveyor or a cargo container. So overall, this thing is actually a lot quicker. I mean, look at that. In less than a minute, that's 4 thrusters that have been welded to completion. If I tried to attempt that by hand, I can guarantee that that would have taken over 5 minutes, at least. Okay, time to get this docked and restocked with more components. Only this time it'll be easier because I've placed the camera the correct way around. That bump probably sounded a lot worse than it actually was. Overall, I'm quite impressed of our new construction ship. I'm not sure about the colour though. Bright blue doesn't strike me as a very construction ship colour. I'll probably make it orange or yellow or something. But once I've done that, I shall take it out once again, for there is work to be done on the asteroid base, and also, I feel it is time to bring a fitting end and retire our old rescue ship. There we are, that's the construction ship and its nice new coat of bright day glow orange. I did experiment with yellow, but it looked absolutely awful. Orange looks a lot better, and it stands out more. Right, the first item in our agenda is to fly over to the old antenna platform and grind away the remains of the old sensor array. That debris serves no purpose anymore, and it's just taking up space on that platform that I need later on with regards to the rescue ship. Well, it's not very fast, but at least it gets the job done, and all the components get put straight into that large cargo container. Ha ha ha, that is correct. The time has come for me to reduce my drone collection into scrap metal. Once again, it's not particularly fast, but it seems to be doing multiple blocks. Even so, something tells me I'm going to be here for quite a while getting all these done. On the bright side, I'm going to have a lot of spare components to use for creating other stuff later on. My plan for the rescue ship is to connect it to that platform over there and make it part of the base. And in order to do that, I need a merge block, both on that platform and on the rescue ship. Once they connect, they will fuse the two grids together to make it one. There we are. Now the next step is to repeat the same process on the rescue ship itself. Now the reason why I'm doing this rather than recycling the rescue ship is that I plan on turning it into a memorial, specifically to my crewmates that didn't manage to survive past our encounter at Proxima Centauri. Because of everything that's happened recently and of our struggle to survive, it's quite easy to forget the sacrifices that have been made by those who helped us get here, so it's only fitting that something should be done to honour their memory. And it only seems fitting that I should use the old rescue ship to do so, because, in a way, it is the only part of the Icarus that has survived and been with us since the very beginning of our adventure. There we go, that's both merge blocks complete. I'll just reverse this construction ship as far back as I can, just to give the rescue ship plenty of space to manoeuvre. And I also very quickly want to check the back of this ship because I banged it briefly on the asteroid there when I was welding up that second merge block. I keep forgetting this ship's a lot longer than the Grazer. Nope, it's all good. Nothing damaged. Now I want to get these two merge blocks lined up as best I can, so I'm going to take this camera and once again stick it on the bottom of the rescue ship. I will have to remove it again shortly before they merge, otherwise it'll stop the two grids from joining together, but at least in the meantime it will let me see the second merge block as I line the ship up. Right, that's 6 from the front, 4 from the back. Just making sure I've got my calculations correct, especially at this stage. If I've done my maths right, I should have an extra block to spare at the front once these things connect. Ah, this will be the last flight of the rescue ship. It's quite sad when you think about it, really. The end of an era. And the beginning of a new one. Right, let's get this thing underway. That looks about right. Oh yeah, that should be close enough. All that's left to do now is grind away the camera again. Right, let's bring it down, nice and gentle. Ah, perfect, they've connected automatically. And now, the rescue ship is part of the station. What I need to do now is switch off the machines inside, the reactor and the engines, and create a plaque on the front near the door, and then it will be complete. There we go, that should be the right colour now, not too bright. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. In memory of Dr. Sho Takahashi and Dr. Mina Sarkar, the first human beings in history to have successfully left Earth in the Sol system and arrived safe and well in the Proxima Centauri star system. You know, I think that sums it up perfectly. At the end of the day, I was just a pilot, and I had been revived hours after they were already awake when we arrived in system. So technically, they were the first human beings in Proxima Centauri. I don't think any of the crew members of the Event Horizon arrived alive in the Proxima Centauri system, and if any did, I don't think they could have been considered human anymore. So as far as I am concerned, Takahashi and Sarkar were definitely the first, and should be honoured as such. Further to this, I am now changing the name of Asteroid Base Alpha to the Takahashi and Sarkar Memorial Base, in their memory and in honour of their achievement. There, it is done. Anyway, now that that's finished, it's time for me to get back to work. There's a lot that still needs to be done. I need to complete the refit, and then with Ben's assistance, I need to do some tests on that jump drive. Once I'm happy with that, then it'll be time for us to decide how we're going to use that to get back to Earth. It's good to see the landing bay clear again. Yeah, I tell you this, it took me a lot longer than I expected to get rid of those dead drones. I've added those extra landing gear to the wings of the Argentavis, just in case anything goes wrong with the connectors when I'm testing out the jump drive. It means that at least I can hold onto these two ships using those instead, if need be. Their own landing gear should suffice, but at least there's an option for us if that doesn't work out. That'll do. Okay, there's not much more to do here now, apart from conclude the refit of the Argentavis. That'll only take a couple more hours, I reckon. Once all that's done, I will just need to upload Ben onto the mainframe on board that ship, and he should be good to go. He can analyse the jump drive, study it, run a simulation to make sure it's safe to use, and if it is, then we can try and use that to jump back to Earth. What I'll also need to do in the meantime is give this ship a new name. I can't keep on calling it the Argentavis, that was the name the pirates gave it. But the question is, what will I name it?